So let me tell you the story of how we got here.
Alan, Jasper and myself, we had a dream to climb Mont Blanc, Europe's largest peak. So one fateful June we all met up in Switzerland to begin our mountaineering voyage.
But we knew we weren't ready. We were amateurs, with little experience and no acclimatization.
So we headed to Italy to climb its tallest peak. This was the first step in the journey of crafting our city dwellers into true mountaineers. It was tough, it was gruelling, it was scary, it was beautiful. It was our first time on a glacier, but after crossing some crevasses, some curing and treacherous climbing, we eventually made it to the summit. Proceeded by spending about 5 minutes shitting myself as I hung onto a rock for dear life. We celebrated, got attacked by a blizzard, and quickly made our way down, back through the glacier, off the mountain, and eventually back to the glorious safety of the hut. We then rested, and the next morning headed back down, off the mountain, to safety.
We had become true mountaineers. We were ready to take this adventure on a whole nother level. We were ready to take on the infamous Mont Blanc. And for the rest of the adventure, this was the plan.
So today, we'd be getting high. No, unfortunately not that type of high. We would be heading up to the glorious Gonella Hut for a day, and more importantly a night, of wonderful acclimatization at over 3,000 meters. And what a wonderful life it is. Following this, like all great adventures, we need to include some chill time. Time to rest and recuperate before pushing our bodies to the limit. We'd be chilling in calm air. On day 6, this was a day that big things would begin, where things would start to get spicy, as we begin to ascend the treacherous Italian route up to the hut. And I really mean treacherous. To get up there, we would need to cling onto ropes for our dear lives with heavy backpacks, dragging us back down to Mother Earth. And for day 7, well, day 7 speaks for itself, as we wake up at midnight to tackle the gruelling ascent to the summit, and then all the way back down. This was a day that might break us.
But what goal isn't worth a little bit of suffering? So anyway, you joined us midway through day 4 at the foot of Gran Paradiso.
We were veritably buzzing. We had taken on Gran Paradiso and we had survived, reaching the other side anointed as true mountaineers. However, acclimatization is everything on the mountains. It's critical in enabling your body to adapt to the thin air, ensuring your body is ready for the altitude to come. And to give us a final kick of time at altitude before Mont Blanc, we headed up to the infamous Gonella Hut. At 3,375 meters, the instant you make it up to the hut, you can feel the energy of alpinism. Surrounded by more rope than 50 Shades of Grey, the mountain was alive with activity and mountaineering buzz. It was quite the vibe. The views were stunning from up there, and we took it very easy, relaxed, and I could think of no better way to acclimatise.
There we go, these guys are admiring the view. Yo Alan, give me a rundown of the crib.
The crib smells like a bunker.
Looks like a bunker.
Looks like a bunker. Could be a bunker. Accessed by a secret underground tunnel. Might be a bunker.
Oh yeah.
We also got a glimpse of the scale of things to come.
How easy would that be? Just
why
down
are we going up the hard way?
We can go straight up. And then cable car back down.
Yeah, we can just follow that ridge.
Yeah.
And we'll just be at the top. And we only have to pay for that hut either.
Perfect. That's one less hut.
Beautiful. And we could do it today.
We could do it right now. What time is it? Right, it's 3:45.
Plenty of time.
Let's get going.
And it is fair to say that the altitude was getting to us, as we begin to show, well, some peculiar behaviour.
Right. Oh wait. Okay, right. Right. Point.
Ooh, you gotta catch the leg.
But anyway, we ate dinner, we went to bed, and knowing that our body would be working hard overnight to acclimatise, we slept well.
And after a lovely night sleeping at altitude, the next day was all about one word: rest. Hello. It's day 5.
Day 5.
Second rest day. What are we up to today?
We are going to the spa.
It's a hard life.
Fabulous.
It's a hard life, the mountaineering life. Just do a small little climb.
Small climb.
3 days of rest.
Spa. Another small climb.
Eat fat plates. Alright.
Yes, I know what you're thinking, trust me, we will start climbing at some point. Adventure is 99% chilling out, doing sweet FA, then occasionally doing something hard, preceded by another round of overindulgence and gluttony. It's a beautiful life indeed. So today we'll be heading back down to the ground dwellers to sleep one more night in calm air. An opportunity to fully recover at a lower altitude, surrounded by thick oxygen, supercharging our bodies for the big days ahead.
It's freaky. Ciao. Ciao. Should we sleep in here tonight? Cancel.
Airbnb for tonight?
Yeah. Don't know where the washing machine is. Incredible. Right, let's get our clothes.
Shower? Is this what we needed?
We also went to the local thermal spa for, if nothing else, a much needed shower after 4 days of hard adventuring. We did a little bit of exploring and ate our final meal, which now I say it out loud sounds a little bit morbid. Oh yeah, and we did some much needed washing, using a less than orthodox technique for drying.
Our bodies were primed and rested. We were ready to attack Mont Blanc and take on the altitude.
But now it seems only fitting to introduce you to our mighty adversary, Mont Blanc. As Europe's highest summit, Mont Blanc is an absolute beast of a mountain. 4,810 metres of unrelenting rock, snow and ice, positioned at the corner of Italy, France and Switzerland. Now for any sane mountaineer to get to the top, there are 3 legendary summit day routes, each with a personality of their own, each beginning at different huts nestled in the side of the mountain. Firstly, we have the Gouta route, the most popular and debatably the easiest route up, except from the sketchy section known as the Grand Couloir, a rock and ice gully prone to rockfall that has claimed many lives over the years. Then we have the Tour du Mont, one of the most technical and known for its steep ascents and the epic traverse of 3 different peaks. And finally, we have the Italian route, by far the longest route starting in Italy. This was a route that we had chosen to be our guiding light up the mountain. By far the longest route, at 40 kilometers to get up and down, it is a real endeavour of endurance, requiring an accumulated climb of over 3,500 spicy meters. Also known as the Pope route, the beginning of the 13-kilometer and 1,600 meter climb up to the mountain starts at the root of the mountain at an unassuming car park by the river. From here, we would begin our climb through the trough of the valley, making our way past the Combo cabin and into the pit of hell. The old remnants of once stood a mighty glacier. We would make our way along the spine of this old beast, and on reaching the end, we would begin to climb. And I really mean climb up the side of this mountain, hanging onto ropes with our heavy equipment on our backs to get us up to the Gonella Hut. From here, we'd eat dinner, rest a few hours, and wake up at the soul-crushing time of 12 AM to begin climbing the 1,900 meters of elevation still remaining to get to the peak. In the pitch darkness, we'll begin the steep traverse along the upper levels of the glacier and onto the ridge. Once on this narrow ridge, with endless steep drops on either side, we'll continue climbing with our ice axes in hand up to the emergency shelter. From there, now at an altitude of above 4,000 meters, struggling to breathe, we would push on the final hour to get ourselves to the summit. At the summit, we'd be able to peer into 3 different countries, but the adventure wouldn't be done yet. What once went up must also come down, so we'd then be making our way all the way back down, which would be a total descent of 3,500 meters in one go down to the bottom.
We expected it to take 18 hours. It was easily going to be one of the hardest days of our lives, but perhaps one of the most memorable.
So this was the day that we've been preparing for over the last 6 months, the day that we begin taking on Mont Blanc. If summit day was the main event, then approach day was the warm-up act. Really the aim was to get to the hut fast enough that we could squeeze in some sleep, whilst not doing anything stupid enough on the way to get us injured before even making it halfway. The issue was that while most approaches to the overnight refuge are usually bucolic, winding, gentle affairs that ease you into the climb, the approach to Gonella Hut was not that. This approach is a challenge in itself that would push us to our limits, but of course we didn't really know that at this point. Look at that. Gravel on that side. That's the bit we're going up. Beautiful green pastures on that side. So we began our climb in high spirits, surrounded by beautiful greenery, following the river that marked the bottom of the valley, propelled by an enthusiasm that was fueled on the morning sun. And after a quick attempt at trying to look cool, we were back on our way. It was now that we began to realise that this was no normal hike. There we go. There's our mountain goat all the way up there. He may be 60, but he's destroying us.
Yeah, he's tearing down the mountain.
How old are you, Alan?
27 today, but I still can't keep up with this big boy.
I know. With the old path on the valley edge having been washed away, we were forced to enter the rocky abyss
and make our way up the spine of the rocky bottom.
Alan, it's the blessed Lord. It's a shrine. It's the shrine to the mighty screw.
With no path in sight except from the one that we create ourselves. It was hard going tramping along fragile, loose rock with your full attention focused on the ballet movement of your feet as you step from one rock to another. The back of your mind realizing that one wrong step, a twisted ankle, and that would be your expedition done for.
Look at those cracks. Look at those boys behind as well.
Minutes turned into what felt like hours on this bleak terrain, with progress feeling terminally slow. Your route being a mere guess of the easiest path ahead. But we kept our heads down, kept grinding, and after a few precarious moments, finally arrived at the edge of the snow, and with the bottom of the glacier to our right, creating a mesmerizing frozen waterfall that looked like they'd just been frozen in time.
Look at that waterfall. Bloody hell.
And the frozen one next to it.
Damn. Incredible.
But eventually we got to the end of the valley, where the crevasses began. We donned our climbing attire and started making our way to the beginning of the sharp climb to the hut.
This route feels legit.
There was no doubt that this terrain brought significant danger. The path was narrow, the climb steep, the ground loose, the drops were unforgiving. I cannot over-exaggerate the focus on our minds. Some parts of the route we knew that a single mistake might be more costly than anything we could ever imagine. We crossed occasional snow patches and we didn't even think they could get any more sketchy.
What a day, bro. What a day. What a birthday for you, Ali.
We were wrong. Towards the end of the route we were met with what can only be described as a ferrata. With heavy, bulky packs on, we were pulling ourselves up the mountains using ropes, chains and ladders, and really anything that would give us an additional feeling of safety. It was absolutely knackering, but a desire to get it done and get to the safety of the hut overrode our desire to stop. Some parts were just fucking scary, but eventually after many hours, our approach was done as we approached the iconic Gonella Hut. The hut was precariously nestled into the side of the mountain. The mind was puzzling at how it was even still standing. From the hut, you could walk straight onto the glacier. But there wasn't much time for rest. We needed to clean ourselves up, prepare our gear, and of course, have dinner.
As you comprehend, where the hell's the route?
See a bit of a track up there.
Good. As long as you can see it.
We went to sleep at 8 PM and we would be waking up only 4 hours later, since our brutal summit day was starting at 12. Yeah, fun times indeed.
Good morning, so it's something like 12 at the moment. Had a few hours of sleep. It is summit day. It's dark out there. Oh god, I think I just heard like an avalanche thing. Alright, but it's time for breakfast and it's time to get going.
Into the camera, okay. So what was going through my mind at 12 AM as I woke up? I think for me, I remember setting my alarm on my watch for, well, crap, I can't even remember. You know what? I was frazzled. I was exhausted.
I think you go to bed so early and you have so little sleep, at least speaking from my side. I never really completely switched off.
But really there wasn't much time to think at that point. It was just go to the bathroom, have breakfast, finish packing, check your packing, put on your crampons, break up to your partner and get going. There really isn't much time to think.
And ultimately I was thinking, am I really prepared for this? And that was it.
The climb up during the night is one of the most exciting parts of the climb.
Yeah, the whole night was just a bit of a blur really. It's strange, all you're doing is literally just following the person in front of you.
I was a climb up in the dark. In 2 words, absolutely terrifying.
All you do is focus on the meter in front of you.
I cannot tell you how steep this is.
And there's a beauty about that. There's something calming about that. You weren't thinking about the top of the mountain or even something 100 meters ahead. Because all you could do Really all you should do, focus on the meter in front of you.
So we're about an hour and a half into this little escapade. It's steep, it's definitely steep. It's like climbing stairs. We've ascended about 600 meters. It's good progress. About a third of the way, but it's hard work.
I knew that you'd be going over some pretty gnarly bits, but that it's better to just ignore it. In this case, ignorance is really bliss.
Really your focus is just to keep going, stay warm and focus on completing each meter at a time. And then eventually you'll get to the summit.
You'll see footage of us. I'm not sure if Gatsby managed to really capture it, but you can see, or you can't see, it is just depth and blackness on both sides. So you look down to the left, you look down to the right, and it's just emptiness.
Hey, the boys all right down there?
Every now and then you get a glimpse of how steep the areas you're going up are and how far the drops are either side of you, because you see lights in the valley either side of you, or you see other lights that sort of give away the sheer size of the mountain. But by and large, I think going up in the dark is blissful ignorance.
It was awesome to see that you could just see these lights on the side of the mountain slowly weaving their way up, knowing that soon you'd be at that point. With the stars overhead as well. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was incredible. I loved it.
A single misstep, a single tumble, it will be your last misstep, your last tumble, I would say. So it was terrifying, but also a teeny bit thrilling.
And it's really beautiful as well when in the dawn, when the sun comes up, it starts to get slightly more light, and then more light, you can see more around you. And then that's when you kind of realise just the, I can't think of a better word, but mega adventure that you're on. And that's when you notice the breathtaking scenery and landscape around you. It's incredible.
And yeah, so I suppose my piece of advice for the night ascent would be absolutely sure that you've got those 3 points of contact. So for me it was quite methodical. It would be ice axe and then move the feet. Ice axe, move the feet, ice axe, move the feet. So I would constantly be in a position of safety, and in that way you have maximum security.
Okay, so what, we've been climbing for 4.5 hours. We finally reached, where are we, Paul?
Valdo, about 4,300 and something.
So basically we're at the top. But look over there. Isn't that beautiful? Well, I think the boys are pretty hammered. Woo. A look at the scenery.
I remember we stopped there to catch our breath and to have a little snack before we pushed on, and that was just around the time that the sun was coming out, and it was just the most beautiful landscape. And then you push on.
So the final 400 metres of descent, this is the best bit of the climb. This is the bit that makes everything else worth it. All the pain that you've seen before is rewarded with that 400 metre climb.
You can smell the finish line, which really, really helps. So even though physically it's some of the hardest meters that you're going up, mentally, at least from my perspective, it was quite enjoyable.
My breathing rate had doubled. Every step was a struggle. And there's a psychological battle you have to play with yourself. And while moving is difficult enough, you've also got to make sure that you're moving safely, that you've always got 3 points of contact, that you're not going to end up falling down the side of a mountain.
There's this beautiful moment where you get out onto a plateau, and it's on this first plateau, you look up, you look to the right, and you can see the mounting, kind of the flowing mountains of the summit before you, and that's pretty beautiful. But also because you can see that you've made progress. And at this point, that last 400 meters, we had light, we had an open expanse, and yeah, that was very, very exciting.
The combination of the physical and the mental aspect was pretty excruciating. Mont Blanc definitely isn't for the light-hearted.
so steep. It's crazy. How's the fit? Top notch.
And at this point, it feels like a playground. You know, it feels like a big open playground, as opposed to this, you know, terrible, scary thing where you're climbing up in the night and you don't know whether you're on the precipice or falling down. But yeah, I would say big, giant playground, which is great.
We had very different experiences going out this mountain, but anyway.
You think so?
Yeah, you'll see. And I'll be honest with you, there were points where I thought about giving up. It was a pure sufferfest. How was the breathing? How was the physical exertion on that last
The physical exertion
push?
The last push? Physical, that was tough. That was tough. As you get tired, there's an element of the tiredness that kind of creeps in, saps your energy, but also the altitude also incredibly saps your energy. Climbing 4 or 5 hours, you start to really feel the compound effect of all of that.
Nice. Oh, we are 50 metres or so from the top. The lads behind, we're getting our asses kicked, but one more push. There, baby.
You actually tend to really feel it. Unless you're really light. If you're light, you will bounce up the mountain. But for me and for Jasper, I think that was hard work.
The bouncing is a total grind.
It was a total grind.
Yeah.
It felt like you guys were bouncing ahead. It felt
I could barely breathe.
It felt like you were just shooting ahead. Whereas for us, it was really, it was. We were in the pain cave. We were just chipping away in the pain cave. There are so many intrinsic and extrinsic factors that could impede you from reaching the summit, that actually getting there is a huge relief.
Yeah, felt like mission accomplished.
It's funny how you're struggling all the way up. You can feel all your ailments. I felt my ankle in pain, my back was hurting. But as soon as you reach the summit, that all disappears. And it's just pure joy.
Really proud moment. We were super lucky with the weather because it was clear skies. I could see all the way through to Geneva, but obviously at the same time you're struggling with altitude sickness. I was trying to eat a cereal bar to get some energy, but I just couldn't get it down my throat. So I think in half of the photos at the summit I have a cereal bar in my mouth. But yeah, most of all it was a feeling of relief.
As you look around in the scenery, in the horizon, you can see the layers of mountains shrouded in mist. You can see the shadow of Mont Blanc just square across miles and miles of land. But really my favourite bit was just celebrating with my mates, knowing that we've all conquered something which was incredibly hard, took months of preparation, cost a lot of money as well, pushed us in every dimension. And the pure satisfaction you felt was wonderful.
And I literally just stood there and turned on my phone and snapped photos in every single direction. I did a whole 360 to really try and memorize exactly that feeling of being on top of the world, which is what I would say, yeah.
And at the summit of Mont Blanc, you were at the top of Europe. You were in the heavens. If I close my eyes now, I can still picture the surrounding scenery. Those are memories which I will probably never lose. And that's part of what makes mountaineering so addictive, so incredible. So wonderful. But to be honest, there wasn't a huge amount of time to enjoy either, because after about 5 minutes, it's time to go down. The sun is starting to shine and the snow is starting to melt. And the crusty snow that felt like concrete on the way up was starting to turn into slush. Time is all critical on the mountains.
The descent in our case was quite special. When you go up, you're in the dark and you're blissfully ignorant of what's around you.
Oh yeah, so the descent. So the first bit was fun. You know, you're still reeling from the top. It was happy, enjoyable. Every step down, you're starting to regain your breath and get more oxygen into your body. It felt wonderful. But that was when the joy kind of ended.
And when you're coming down in the daylight, that's when you realize that you went over edges that are no more than half a meter wide, with a drop of hundreds of meters either side. And you just realize what you did in total darkness. And how dangerous it is and how wrong it could have gone.
So they have the shelter at the foot of the last 400 meters, and we reached there. Things were great, but that's when we started to go down. the route that we'd gone up in the night. And my God, was that scary.
You still have to stay really, really awake and not allow yourself to make mistakes, even though it's so easy to just become complacent at that point.
You were walking on a ridge which was basically that wide, one footstep after another, slowly making your way down an incline like that, with sides which are, I kid you not, that steep. Below on either side, just dropping down into nothing. That was freaky. That was sketchy. That's probably one of the moments in my life when I felt most at risk of death.
But luckily we were very switched on at that stage, and we were just enjoying the feeling of having reached our goal, and also realizing what we had been climbing throughout the night. So yeah, quite a cool experience.
But stayed calm, purely focused on one step after another step after another step.
We've got these beautiful mountains around. We've got to focus in on the task at hand, because you know that if one of you goes, you both go. So yeah.
And eventually, after nerve-wracking half an hour, we got down to safety. We got down to the glacier.
Look at these Muppets trying to get down.
There's so many areas where it could have gone like completely wrong. You're climbing over icy patches, you're climbing over areas where there's been clearly a lot of rockfall. You're climbing over very narrow ridges with steep falls either side.
And then it was like skiing down the slush, jumping over the crevices we had jumped in during the night, stopping to realise just actually how big and crazy they were.
So there's plenty of opportunity for it to go very, very wrong. Luckily in our case we had very good weather, which helped a lot.
And before you know it, as the sun was scorching down, it was getting super hot.
Holy shit. Oh.
After a long, long morning, we finally got back. And wow, that's probably the only time in the last 10 hours that I was at ease and felt safe again. That's when you could finally take a moment to breathe and just relax.
Here we have the warriors returning from battle, weary, but with achievement in their heart.
Lovely ending, isn't it?
Yeah.
Last 20 minutes is just gorgeous.
Alrighty, so that's phase 2 completed. Phase 1 was getting up to the summit, that took about 6 hours. Phase 2 was the scary descent, which took about 4 hours. Phase 3 is we're going to head to the car, which is another 6 hours. So we're going to leave at 1 p.m. We need to head down this via ferrata craziness, try not to fall off the mountain, and then we are on our way all the way down there until we get to the car. It's gonna be a long hike. To be honest, I probably won't record any footage from here because you guys have seen it, so I guess I'll see. I don't know what's gonna be next, so I'll see you then. What a crazy, crazy day. Beautiful.
Was it harder than expected? Yes. If we went in with the expectation that it was going to be a long hike up the mountain, as we were told, then definitely it was a lot harder.
A little bit of an update on the return. We've got 3 lads, probably can't see them, still stuck in the valley, slowly making their way down to the next point up there. I found myself up here because there's a landslide up there. And I took the opportunity to escape by climbing up a dirt crack. So, things aren't going particularly well.
The fact that we had to climb not only down to the hut, but then all the way down to the parking. You're going over via ferrata, which is really quite steep, and then over a glacier bed, which is essentially just like loose rock that will twist your ankles if you don't pay a lot of attention.
Paradise? Hell.
That really compounded how hard it was.
Yeah, something Mont Blanc was way harder than I expected. Probably not in the physical sense, but the sheer sketchiness of it all, the danger. I think that's what was most truly shocking.
So there we have it, that was Mont Blanc. It was an adventure filled with mountains, perfect weather and good times. Oh, and some f***ing scary drops. It's definitely an adventure that I might never forget. And in some ways, that's all I could have asked for, and part of the reason mountaineering is just so addictive. Oh, and if you have any questions about our approach, the planning, the route, our experiences, please feel free to reach out in the comments below. Also, if you haven't watched part 1, where we take on Gran Paradiso, check it out. Oh, finally, and most importantly, thank you for watching.